Hi, I'm Bob Alsop with ShopSabre CNC. Around here they call me RouterBob. We've had a lot of requests about CNC Shawn's story. And in this video, I'm going to sit down and interview Shawn, and we're going to learn about how he started and how he ended up as part of the ShopSabre video team. Well, CNC Shawn just joined us. Shawn, I know you got a really successful cabinet vision. You've had a ShopSabre for 10 years. How did you get started?
Well, it's a pretty long story, but give you the shortened version of it. I went to school for IT, ended up with a job in Florida, and worked there for a little bit, and kind of missed family, missed being in Minnesota, and ended up moving back and looking for something to do. So in the meantime, I did a little remodeling with somebody, and I also got a job at Rockler Woodworking. And I kind of fell in love with the hobby at that point.
You know, there's a therapeutic part of woodworking that a lot of people don't really understand, and it's nice that you can make a business out of that.
It is, you know, the therapeutic side. I mean, I did turning for a while, and taking a block of wood and watching it turn into something is a lot of fun. And you just see, you know, a blank slate that you get to build something out of is really pretty cool.
How did you decide you needed a CNC?
Well, we've been in business for about 6 years. We weren't able to keep up with what we had to get done. It was just increasingly difficult, and we figured ultimately a CNC is what's going to bring us into that market and be able to compete, be able to get things out of the shop quicker.
So then the next logical question would be, how did you find ShopSabre?
Well, probably looking around online, but I looked at several different shops or CNC companies and trying to get ideas. I talked to different people. ShopSabre did probably the best job of any of the companies getting back to me. Ultimately, I had a lot of companies that never even responded, which kind of baffled me and made me think, you know, if I'm about to give you a bunch of money for a machine and you're not responding to me, what's it going to be like when it boils down to support? You know, the other thing I looked at too was a lot of these really, really high-end machines all run on ball screw. And then you look at, in the same market, there's a lot that aren't. They're rack and pinion. Well, why wouldn't I want an all ball screw machine then? And it gave me the precision that I wanted, that I thought I would need for dovetailed drawer boxes, for doing MDF doors, and just pretty much everything we were going to need for our cabinet shop. So ultimately, that's really what led us to buy a ShopSabre machine.
So you've had your machine about 10 years. Can you remember what it was like when the machine first arrived to your shop?
Well, it's quite a difference. I mean, you're a little apprehensive. You know, you got this big thing ran by a computer. Now, I did have a background in IT, so it did help a little bit. But in the end, you found out with the support that ShopSabre has, it really wasn't that hard. And I even tell people to this day right now that running a ShopSabre CNC is really pretty simple. It's the software side of it that you're going to have to dive in and learn and really study on that. But boy, they make their machine so simple, and the support that backs it up is always there to help out.
Now, tell us about the other part of the 10 years. What have you learned during that time?
So, you know, when we got our first machine, we were buying it because we had a cabinet shop. You know, we did a little bit of furniture, mainly cabinets. And what I found is it's opened up a whole new world for us. We now cut several commercial jobs, not just cabinets. We do 3D wall paneling, ceiling stuff, hotel stuff, different carvings, signs, and we wouldn't be able to do it without the ShopSabre, because where all that started was with the gantry height. And, you know, one of our number one commercial client found us through ShopSabre, actually, because they needed somebody to cut an 8-inch thick piece of foam. We were able to do it because we had the gantry height that ShopSabre offers.
What have you done during this time to make you more productive with the machine?
Well, it's a good question. A couple years ago, we added a vacuum lift. And, you know, the CNC itself is like adding a couple extra people to the shop. Adding the vacuum lift, that made it so anybody can get sheets up there. You know, we looked at, would you want to add a machine that's got a loader unloader? Well, in our application, we run a lot of stuff that's, you know, 150-pound sheets of phenolic, plastics. Well, you can't drag those at all, period. They're too easy to scratch. And the other big one would be our CNC Edge Bander. You know, it's got every station we needed in it, and it just does a flawless job.
Shawn, that's a really interesting story. But, you know, I think the first time I met you was at Las Vegas at the trade show, and you were in the booth with us. And the reason is sometimes people that look at machines want to talk to somebody that runs a real shop. And you always did a good job for us for that.
Yeah, well, you know, I told Brandon early on that, you know, ShopSabre's really changed my wife and I's life as far as how our company has grown and what it's really done for us. And I had let Brandon know early on that anybody wants to talk to me, let them talk to me. Because I was going into a world I didn't know and looking for advice, looking for help, and people wouldn't give it to me. So I'm happy to talk to anybody about it and what it's done for us and where we've gotten it. So that's kind of what led me to, you know, going to the show, and we did 3 of them together, I think. So
what actually made you decide you wanted to be part of our team here?
Yeah, kind of a crazy decision there. You know, already busy with the company and everything, but again, it's something I really enjoy. It doesn't take a ton of my time away, and it's really fun. And you know, I'd like to jump at the opportunity to help ShopSabre continue to grow.
You've really helped me because as I've gotten older, the material is a lot heavier and you can handle it a lot better than I can.
Yeah, we don't have a vacuum lift down there.
Right. All right, Shawn, I've got a good question for you. What's the worst decision you've made since you've had a CNC router?
Well, you know, there's kind of 2. One would be I should have bought one earlier.
Right.
But ultimately I chose the wrong software. You know, just learning, I did it on my own. I didn't necessarily take the advice of ShopSabre, which, you know, I don't know why, but I didn't. And thankfully, they did help me get through that. And the software, I've been using KCD now for 10 years or so. And it's worked flawlessly for me.
Fortunately, cabinet software has really improved in the last decade.
Yeah, it sure
Now, what are the really good things that have happened?
Well, you know, like we alluded to earlier, just how ShopSabre's helped me grow, what the machine's done for us, the ease of use for it for employees, the training they offer if you want to send somebody here is great. The ability to do almost anything on it, you know, from commercial cabinets to residential cabinets to carvings and, you know, all the different materials. We've done aluminum. It's just opened up so many doors, and the success that's come from that has just been enormous.
Shawn, you mentioned residential and commercial cabinetry. We get a lot of questions about the difference in those. And since you've done them both, can you reflect on that?
Well, I would say the biggest one for most people anyway is just the difference between frameless or face frame. And a lot of commercial cabinets are going to be a frameless design. And with the combination with the CNC Edge Bander, the CNC, I mean, you can pretty much do a whole commercial job with just those 2 machines. And it just makes it a lot easier.
We've really covered a lot of interesting stuff in this video, but let me give you a hypothetical. Let's say I'm making that path. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to buy a CNC. What would you tell me?
Well, it's a big step for a small shop. You know, if you're running all your parts on a table saw and say a panel router, stuff like that, you know, jump into a CNC is a big dollar amount, but I'd say do it. I mean, what your capabilities are going to be, they're going to just grow tenfold. The efficiency, the accuracy, you know, the machine's not going to make a mistake unless you programmed it wrong. I can just say for what it's done for me has really made us grow a lot. And the capabilities that we have now, you know, doing dovetail drawers on the machine, doing MDF doors, and that's a big seller. You know, we cut thousands of those every year. So I would encourage anybody to jump right into it.
I've got another question. Early on, did you worry about being able to pay for the machine?
You know, it's a concern right away, but you know you have this work coming in. And what it really did for us is not necessarily eliminate employees we had. We were able to delegate them to do more stuff, and we were able to get even more done and just increase our growth. So it really was never an issue.
Shawn, thank you so much for sharing this with us. You know, a lot of customers who are thinking about getting into this can really benefit from what you've shared with us.
Oh, I'm happy to do it. I just hope it helps some people out.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you need more information, you can contact us at shopsabre.com.
And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Thank you for watching.